is there anyone you can think of that should be deplatformed? That currently you're like, man, I cannot believe this dude is allowed to continue on.
Not really. I mean, I guess like the thing that I cannot comprehend is Keemstar, where like he has he's done like so much horrible shit, and he does associate with people who are definitely on the side of the Nazis, but then portray themselves as centrists from time to time, and like podcasts and things like that that have already been deplatformed. But like, I don't want Keemstar to be yeeted off the face of the planet, although that does sound appealing personally. I don't want him to just like be fucking completely deplatformed. I just want him to stop being an asshole. Do you see what I'm saying?
I don't think he can, though.
But, and well, part of the reason why he can't is because there is never any there are never any sort of there's never like a reason for him to, because he makes money doing this.
Yeah.
And he will continue doing it over and over again because he makes money doing it. And there's no pushback.
Yeah, it's
like there might be some pushback from people who watch him or people who say like, "Oh, fuck you," but he knows how to dance around that. He turns that into content in and of itself.
He has the Alex Jones. It's like the Alex Jones syndrome, where he becomes more radical because it's where he finds the most success.
Yeah, profitable.
And but I do think there's a strong argument that he is I think, a danger to public safety. I don't think to the same degree as Alex Jones, who's like, for example, sending, like, I remember the family of Sandy Hook. They had to like move and shit. I mean, that's crazy. But
yeah,
he's definitely an interesting case. I mean, there's no question that he's a horrible person.
Yeah, I just like. I don't.
Is he a horrible person? I don't know. I mean, like,
What?
Is he a horrible person? I mean, what do you make of
think
it?
so. Yeah, I think so. From
I
my
think he's a
personal
bad
experience
person.
with him, yes.
Yes.
I can't. From my personal experience, I cannot point out another person that has the same effects as he does on people, and has had on me personally.
Yeah, I try to I feel like there's not very many truly bad people in the world. You know what I mean? Like, just like you're a bad person. So I try to, and of course he would deny that. He thinks he's a good person. So
I think everyone has the capability of being good, including Keemstar. That is at the center of what I believe. I believe in rehabilitation over incarceration.
Yeah.
I believe that our draconian opinion on like our draconian understanding of punitive measures is genuinely a significant problem in the criminal justice system, but also even in these like, I guess, quote unquote, witch hunts or internet mob mentality that exists in cancel culture and all these things that we talk about. But ultimately, at a certain point, we got to recognize like this dude is not stopping. Like, how do we get him to stop? Like, I would much rather be able to have a conversation with him privately, knowing full well that it's not going to be like used or weaponized against me in the future. But I can't trust that. But and be like, dude, why are you doing this? Like, there are different ways that you can still keep making the same money and even probably get admired by a lot more people. I wish you would stop. That's what I have to say to Keemstar. Like,
I feel like I've had that conversation with him, and he got super defensive and angry. It was really frustrating. It was after the whatever. It doesn't matter.
Well, the fact that we even have this conversation now, and once this gets published, is going to mean that like the crosshairs are back on me. Keemstar was actually played a significant role in the 9/11 stuff too. So whenever he says like cancel culture is bullshit, of course there is like a direct pipeline from it was on LSF. Someone who fucking hates me immediately published it on LSF. Like literally took a clip, streamed it, like restreamed the clip so that they could have it on their own. So I can't delete it. Published it on LSF, which is a very popular subreddit. That features all of these like live stream fails from Twitch and stuff. Keemstar took it, published it. Every single like right wing commentator on Twitter highlighted it and was like, "How the fuck is this guy still on the platform? I can't believe that they're like letting this dude stay on the platform." Blah blah blah. And then it went all the way to Tucker Carlson's producers. And then after that, it was in the Fox News pipeline. So it just circulated through. but that's how it went. Like I could literally track it, like little pings, moving, and the story gaining momentum and the outrage building.
Yeah.
He really has a talent to amplify.
Yeah, he does.
If someone is having a bad moment, he immediately is on top of that and making it 10 times worse.
But that's kind of his talent, right? It's almost hard to hold that against him. But the problem with Keemstar is that there's no filters, there's no self-awareness of thinking like, this is not necessarily so important, and like the damage it's going to do to this person is way worse than like the actual importance of me amplifying this. He doesn't have that. You know what I mean? So the amplification.
He is Mr. Cancel Culture, regardless of whatever his personal opinions are or how he presents himself on cancel culture. He is the #1 canceler.
Yeah.
He literally does cancel culture nonstop. Yeah. And so do Republicans. That's why I always am like, I always think it's so silly when liberals are the only people that do cancel culture is like so common on the internet, especially on YouTube, which certainly has more right-wing content creators than left-wing.
Yeah, I don't know when that happened, but you're right.
So successfully monopolized the marketplace, and this narrative is just something that everyone just universally agrees on now. It feels like that leftists and liberals are the ones engaging in cancel culture, and certainly some are, but to think that Republicans don't do it
they say,
nearly as much,
it's just because if you don't outright say we need to cancel this guy, that doesn't mean that you're not pro cancel culture. It's what Keemstar does every day on his show, is like trying to fucking ruin people's lives. I feel like
he hates cancel culture, but then literally exclusively makes money off of doing cancel culture. That's how they make money. Like, this is how and they're extremely hypocritical.
Yeah, and then you gotta love Keemstar saying that I invented
going
after sponsors, man.
Yeah, no, that certainly never
existed. Which is, by the way, one time I've ever done that, and he's done it dozens of times and still does it even after making that claim. Like, he was tagging Alinity sponsors on Twitter and shit. It's like, I've done that once in a situation that I felt was entirely justified, and he does it actively all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And it worked.
I think, again, it's because we're all content creators and we're all afraid of that happening to us. So that's why it's like, because of that, it's kind of like an unwritten rule that you don't fuck up anybody else's bag, because it might come back to you, as Moist Critical pointed out on his video. But at the same time, it's like, well, what if you get the fucking sea of hate from people like Keemstar nonstop, who then also do go after your fucking sponsors, or definitely play a significant role in your deplatforming, or even play a significant role in you losing your sponsors as a consequence of his like endless sea of attention or endless focus. Shitting on you and finding your worst moments out of context, whatever.
Somebody made.
How do you deal with that then?
Yeah, so this one guy made a really good point. It was FaZe Rug's brother who Keemstar had on a parade of women accusing him of sexual impropriety, and then he goes, dude, how am I ever supposed to get a sponsor? Or maybe it was it was KSI's brother, Deji. Yeah, it was Deji. He says, how am I ever supposed to get a sponsor when the first thing that pops up when you type my name is all this horrible shit you say about me?
Yeah. No, that's the hilarious way that Keemstar is like very hypocritical on cancel culture and shit, because this is how he makes his money, by shitting on people and eliminating sponsorship opportunities for themselves while simultaneously acting like he is anti-cancel culture or anti-going after people's sponsors. It's bullshit. And that's why I'm like, if you truly are fearful of like an innocent person getting their sponsorship removed, then you should absolutely be against Keemstar. Like 100%. You should be like, what the fuck, dude? You do this all the time.
That's what you
constantly, deliberately misrepresent people's positions and misinform your audience and go after people. And then you're going to sit here and act like you're the only one who doesn't care about sponsorships getting taken away. Like you don't want that.
Well, it's refreshing to have this kind of conversation and just to hear you also seeing all this stuff that we're seeing, because sometimes it just feels like no one will talk about it.
Yeah,
because people are afraid that they're going to come after them. Just like I'm sure that after seeing this, Keemstar will come after me as he has in the past and say like, you fucking suck. And he has come after me in the past successfully and has gotten me deplatformed, which is why I think it's hilarious when he talks about being deplatformed or cancel culture. Everyone does this. I have people, I have, 15 to 17,000 concurrent live viewers every day at my peak when I'm streaming. And I talk about polarizing political concepts, and I'm willing to engage people in discussion all the time. In my chat, you can write whatever the fuck you want. And a lot of people will bait stuff personally to draw to elicit a certain kind of response out of me just so they can clip it and then post it and try to get me banned. This is something I have to deal with on a daily basis. These people are on the right for the most part. They fucking hate me. They're on the right. They try to get me banned. They mass report all the time. And then they turn around and act like they themselves never engage in cancel culture or hate cancel culture,
or that
when
they're just
doing
all pro free speech, that they just want to have productive conversations and stuff. But that's never the case. That's just never the case.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been happening to us already all the time with the podcast, which is why I was pretty surprised by everyone's reaction after Ethan going after a sponsor. It's like, we've been dealing with this all the time. People are trying to cancel you every day.
Pretty much since we
just give them a soundbite that's gonna be a little bit like extreme, and that's it. They spam it to all the sponsors. They spam it to everyone.
I gotta say, like, I don't necessarily blame the sponsors because they're not going to spend the time to familiarize themselves. But like the people that send the sponsors this stuff are not even customers. And it's so easy to tell that these people don't give a fuck about the product and they will never care or support that brand anyway. Like,
they're risk averse. They're risk averse.
They have no reason. They have no reason to stick their neck out.
No.
And also, like, it's branding, right? So they present themselves in a completely unrealistic way as a brand. So in that unrealistic way, you don't ever want to associate yourself with someone who has fucked up, because fuck-ups do not exist in the branding world, right? So that's also the other part of this equation. The other part of this problem is like some people do genuinely fuck up from time to time. And I think everyone should be a little bit more understanding. But if you are literally routinely doing this and making money off of it, like, please stop.
Yeah.
Please, just don't. Please stop doing it. That's what I have to say.